Good morning. I need to wash my car. Oh my God, the Bobcat! Oh my God! Get out! Get out! Get out! It's a beat! Get out! Lindsay! Watch out! Oh, shoot that fucker! Get out! Watch out! Watch out! It's a Bobcat! Attack my wife! A Bobcat!
But yeah, well, yeah, it's great to visit with you, Happy. Thank you for making time for us today.
Yes, sir.
So you're joining us, obviously from North Carolina. Well, whereabouts do you guys call home?
I was born and raised in a little town called New Bern, North Carolina, but I live in a little bitty place called Burgall, North Carolina. We're about 35 minutes north, kind of west of Wilmington, down on the
Okay.
coast. But kind of the best of all worlds. If you're a sportsman, you know, we got fair deer hunting, got excellent bear hunting. We got the coast, and it's a pretty good catfish. So, you know, we got good spot to be in right here in Eastern North Carolina.
Right on, right on. Yeah. So what is your favorite thing to hunt?
Favorite hunting is bear hunting. I wouldn't say I'm very successful at it as I'd like to be. On the other side of that, I consider myself a hunter, not a killer. And so if it's not what I want, which is a big boar, I got videos that I send my wife all the time of, you know, 250 pound, you know, couple of year old younger bears. But we have such good bear hunting here that, you know, I don't, unless they're over 350, 400 pounds, I just let them walk. So they're just fun to see. I mean, not too many people can say they've even seen a bear in the woods.
Yeah.
So, and I get to see them yearly. But I'm very specific in what I harvest.
This is my bear I killed in Alberta, and he.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was about a probably 350-pound bear.
Yeah, that's going.
They don't weigh them up there because they are just coming out of hibernation.
Right.
And they feel like people might not be happy with the weight that they give them, but you have to consider these bears have lost, I don't know, 30, 40% of their body weight.
Say, yeah. See, that's why our bears in North Carolina get so big. They don't have to hibernate.
Yeah.
In Eastern North Carolina, they're up year round.
Huh.
So that's why, you know, I mean, I think up until about 6 years ago or so, 7 years ago, the world's record was back in where I live, Craven County, North Carolina. I was born and raised. It was, I think it was 889 pounds.
Yeah.
Black bear. And I think one in Pennsylvania they found was 902.
Wow.
Was what a guy got. So I think that's the current world record.
So, I mean, I know the Shockies have come for years and hunted in North Carolina. What is y'all's season like? Is it mostly private land? Is there public land opportunity?
Well, some of the best bear hunting that we have in my area in Eastern North Carolina is always going to fringe on one of the game lands. Generally, though, the best access that you have, and please don't take this the wrong way, unfortunately, game lands allows anyone who signs a permit and, you know, is able to get the information to the state and they get their permit and they buy their license. There's some bad hunters, and I prefer to stay off the game lands and get on private property just for safety.
Sure. Yeah. No, the Orange Army comes out, and it's like Pennsylvania is very much that way, you know. But they have a great deer hunting heritage in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we're not knocking that, but from a safety, it was a couple of years ago, a father and a daughter, I believe, got shot on a deer drive in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Both of them killed. I mean, that kind of stuff happened. So I certainly understand your sentiment of trying to stay off of the public.
Yeah. When my son and I go, his safety is far more important than harvesting anything. Having a good time is, you know, I guess the older I get, the more of the experience I appreciate. when we go to hunt, I'm 10 times more excited when he gets a doe than I am if I get a really nice buck.
Right.
Just because it's your kid.
Yeah.
And we have what we call management deer, just like anybody else. And once a doe gets old and long faced, we try to pull them out of the herd. And of course, any crazy racks we try to bring out. But, for the most part, our rule is at the little group, and we don't really have a hunting club, it's just a little group, is 6 points or better. If you don't let the little ones grow up, you won't have any decent deer. And we don't take out any does unless they're old with a real long face on them. But they make sausage just as good as anything else.
Oh yeah. Well, let them go, let them grow. That's the saying.
That's it. That's it.
And that's that's the same here in Texas. Largemouth bass are king, and I would advise anyone not to really ever consider keeping something that's over 5 pounds. There's no reason to. You can, and I'm all for it. Some people frown on the idea of just eating bass altogether. Bass are delicious. Largemouth bass are fun. Smallmouth are even better. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with keeping them. Just let the big girls go back. Be my message. When you're bear hunting, like, how big of a property are you looking for? And I'm interested because we have very few bears in Texas. There's some out west. There's some in East Texas that come in from Louisiana. We don't have a season because we just really don't have very many.
Right.
And I'll be frank with you, like, as someone who our culture is like deer hunting culture. We all run feeders. And I see pictures from other states of basically what looks like a 300-pound raccoon on top of a feeder, just destroying it. I don't know that I really want that headache. I'll come to your state and shoot your bears.
There's 2 rules of thumb. Are you dog hunting or still hunting? Because if you're dog hunting, you don't need that big a piece of property.
Yeah.
Because you're going to basically pull the dogs in there, and when they basically tree the bear, it's kind of like the same thing with mountain lions. I've never been on a mountain lion hunt, but I'm assuming that's it. The older I get, the more I prefer still hunting. I like, even with deer, I like going in the spring, finding, sheds. Sheds are always good signs. I like seeing where the natural trails are. I like putting bait out and putting some cameras out, and seeing, like you said, what's coming in the area. And then if you do it long enough, you kind of figure out patterns, and you can pattern a deer. Bear is kind of similar, except you'll see a 500-600-pound black bear every night in your trail cam, and you'll see it during the day and everything else, all in trail cams. But the day before bear season opens, you won't see anything over 250 pounds. I swear they're the smart animals. They know, oh, it's season, let's go hide. And but yeah, you got to be in the right spot at the right time when you're a still hunter. And if you still hunt, you understand that program. And like I said, for me, the older I get, I mean, I'm not old, I'm 56, but as a Christian, I like getting out and just being quiet. Sometimes I do my best hearing of what message God's trying to tell me when I get quiet. And when I turn the phone off, I'm out of cell phone range. The key is turning the phone off. Don't put it on vibrate, because text message now is just as worse. My son missed a really, really nice deer, texting one time. So turn it off.
Yeah, I haven't ever, I guess you could say, still hunted black bear. I shot in Alberta. We were hunting out of tree stands over bait. I did go to Montana and do a black bear hunt, which was a lot of glassing and more of a spot and stalk deal.
Right.
And we didn't have any luck. We saw more grizzlies than we did black bear. And then I did a hound hunt in New Mexico last October and got one on the first day. So,
well, my granddaddy had bear dogs. We use a dog called a plot. Plot hounds are also used in wild boar hunting, which we've got some of that here in North Carolina too. But again, I don't have anything against dog hunters. That's how they like to do it. Most of the dog hunters I know, they enjoy working the dogs more than they do pulling the trigger. Sure, they love hearing their dogs work. They tell which one's baying, and they got jumping dogs and pack dogs, and they work those things. And it's being in the woods is the most important thing. But
sure, my
preference, again, like I said, is still hunting. We use sweet potatoes here, believe it or not, is kind of the best bait for bears. Really? and they work on deer too. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind of to your point of it's not all about the killing for these houndsmen. The guy that I mountain lion hunted with in Colorado, he's probably treed 250 mountain lions, maybe more, and he's killed one personally.
yeah,
So he's like, I got one. I'll put clients on them, and then I'll run my dogs for fun, and we'll let them go. So yeah, that's I think that there's a misconception that a lot of those guys just kill indiscriminately, but maybe some do. I think a lot of the younger ones have a lot to learn about that, and maybe you grow into that, but I think the older generation just needs to do a better job of saying, "Hey, it's not about killing them. It's
yeah.
about the
Well,
sport."
I always explained to my son there was a difference between a hunter and a killer.
Mm-hmm.
A hunter will let a deer walk.
Yeah.
If it doesn't fit what we're looking to take, just let it walk. Just
Yeah.
enjoy the beauty of it. Take a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
Send it to your mom. You know, my wife, and my wife loves to eat venison. You know, we love game. She's just not a hunter.
Yeah, mine too.
That's not her thing. You know, but she loves for us to see pictures. You know, and a lot of times I'll see a nice, you know, pretty doe in a fawn, you know, and just take a picture of it and send it to her. I'll send you a video of a little small, probably 150, 175 pound black bear that was eating sweet potatoes 65 yards in front of me. I'll send I'll send it to your cell phone. I'll just text it to you, the video.
Cool.
And he's just sitting there, you know, eating some sweet potatoes, and then he scratches behind his ear, and then he kind of just gets up and meanders off. I mean, in North Carolina, anything over 100 pounds is legal. But again, I guess I would rather be called a hunter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Right on. Well, let's do this. Let's just take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. There's been this crazy video that's all over the internet, and you're the star. So are you cool to stick around for a few more minutes?
Yes, sir. Be glad to.
Perfect. All right. I'll put a commercial break in there. Happy, thanks so much for sticking around. I certainly appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So this past week, it was last week. Okay. It was last week. Somebody sent me a link to this video, and it's on a Vivint. We have that same security company. It's on one of their cameras, and I'm watching it, and I'm not really knowing what to expect here, but okay, someone sent it to me. They kind of know the things that I like, and it's you, and I think you maybe had a cup of coffee, and you waved to a neighbor. It looks like a very nice neighborhood, friendly people. It was kind of like walking back and taking a step back in time. I'm glad that scene still exists in a lot of neighborhoods throughout the country. You wave to your neighbor, "Hey, good morning. You know, how you doing?" And then your wife walks out and she's carrying a pet, correct?
Yeah, we have a 15-year-old cat. And the cat has thyroid problems. So we have to carry it in every 6 months because of its age. But my wife and I we love animals. And we're going to give her as long a good life as we can. So every 6 months off to the vet we go to get blood work done to make sure the thyroid medicine isn't messing up any of her organs.
Okay. So that's the scene. Y'all are getting into the vehicle to go to the vet. And then all hell breaks loose. And you're on the other side of the vehicle. Yeah. So did you know immediately what was happening?
No, I had no clue. All I heard was my wife screaming. I heard the meow or the growl, and I thought, you know, that's not my kitty cat, you know. And you know, even though we say sometimes she has a catitude, it's never been at quite that volume or depth, if you would. Yeah. And then the next thing you know, I hear my wife screaming, and you know, and to be quite honest with you, if you listen to the video, talking about somebody who is selfless, she's actually telling me to run. If you listen, she says, "Run, Happy, run." And of course, being the good husband that I am, I did not listen to my wife. Right. You know, and I mean that as a pun because she swears that I only hear, you know,
selective hearing.
Yeah, I've got it.
Says the same thing.
So all I knew was something was hurting my wife, and she ended up, just so you know, she ended up with about 20. Oh, sorry about that. You know how that goes. Yeah. My wife ended up with over 20 puncture wounds from its claws, from her calf up her back of her thigh, lower back, up onto her shoulders. She had 3 bite marks. And when I grabbed the Bobcat, it was literally trying to bite her right there in the neck.
Oh my
And
gosh.
what I did is I just shoved my arm in and then grabbed it. It bit my arm, and then I raised it up, and that's where, you know, I've seen it several times. It looks like the Lion King moment, you know. And only thing it was is I was trying to keep it away from my face
Sure.
and trying to figure it out. And I took like 2 or 3 steps towards the yard, and then you hear me literally say, "Oh my God, it's a bobcat." Now that's the first time I absolutely know what it is. I had, you know, I had figured out that it was some kind of, you know, wild animal of some sort that was on my wife, but I truly didn't know it was a bobcat until that moment. And then, be quite frankly, it's at that point that I just, you know, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, stupid, now you've grabbed a bobcat. What do you do with it now? And that's the truth. That is
Yeah.
absolutely the truth. And of course, things are running at 10 million miles an hour. And my first thought was, if you see the video, there's a retention pond right next to our house. And, you know, I hate to say this, but there are a bunch of stupid people that have nothing better to do than sit in their, you know, homes and look at the internet. Because they said, oh, that man shot in a neighborhood. Well, what they don't know is behind my house is Burgaw Creek. And it's a creek like a delta. It's not one creek passage. It's like, you know, it's 350 yards wide of about 20 different channels that all meander and mingle. And it's about a mile long. Okay. Yeah. So I've got 350 yards of woods plus a retention pond. So in my head, I thought, okay, create distance. Distance is your friend here.
Yeah.
So I flung the thing as far as I could fling it.
It was a heck of a throw, by the way.
Well, my first thought was woods, escape, it'll take off to the woods. My second thought was, if it'll stop for just a minute, because at this point I've processed that this thing's got to be rabid. This is not normal behavior. Any of us that have been in the woods and seen a bobcat knows this is not normal behavior. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be in the limelight. They just soon stay in the bushes and stay out of anybody's way. I thought, okay, if I can, you know, if it'll stop for just a moment, I'll do my best to put it down. You know, I'll tell you the honest truth. I have a new world of respect for our law enforcement, because there's a huge world of difference between shooting a paper target that's sitting still or maybe got a little breeze on it than being excited, scared, mad, pissed off, every other emotion you could think about, and then trying to hold and shoot something that's that size. But it didn't stay still long. If you're watching the video, it literally runs back to where I guess it thought my wife was still at, or, you know, our cat was. My thought is that our cat made a meow. It hurt it. It's got rabies. It's thinking it's food. And that's kind of the interaction that I think that caused it. But I was not able to get a shot off there. My neighbor comes running in, as you see. A few minutes later, it was underneath my car, the gray car that, you know, you see in the video.
Yeah.
And it made a charge at one of my neighbors. And with my second shot, I was able to get it in the shoulder. Sadly, and I really mean this, I didn't mortally kill it. I didn't put it down immediately. I wounded it pretty good, and it crawled back underneath the car. You know, and I think I shared a little bit this with you before. I'm not a killer. Okay. Yeah. I like to hunt. If when I hunt, there are a lot of people that can shoot my 308 at 400 yards and be dead on. Yeah. I'm about 180 yards. If I can hit a baseball sized spot, I'll pull the trigger. If I can't, it walks. Again, I love deer meat and everything else, but you know,
no, I respect that. You have your limitations and you know them.
Yeah.
You're aware of them.
So,
and that's how you operate.
That bobcat, before it had rabies, I would have been awe if I'd have seen it in the woods. And, you know, was I mad and pissed off in the beginning? I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
No, you could say. Okay. You said something a lot worse in the video, I think. There, that's okay.
Well,
I know you said you're a Christian.
How my mom, look, that's not how my mama taught me. Okay,
I'm gonna make these T-shirts that say "I love Jesus," but I cuss a little. I'm gonna send you one.
Well,
I'm gonna get one for myself too. So don't worry about it.
Put on the back. That's not how our mama taught us. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
My mama did not teach me to use that language. But I was, I was mad, and this thing had attacked my wife, and my wife and I've been together almost 38 years now. 37 years. In August, we'll celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary. She was 15 when we started dating. And, it may sound not mannish to some people, but, buddy, that lady could have my last breath and I wouldn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, she has my heart. She's got my soul. I won't say she has my soul because that belongs to Jesus. And I really mean that too. But man, I'm telling you, it's right there. Because
well, chivalry was certainly on display in this video, which is one of the things that really stood out to me. Number one, it's crazy to have a bobcat attack people in broad daylight. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, your reaction is, that's my lady. I'm going to do whatever it takes to save her.
Yes, sir.
Which was awesome. And then the third thing, you're carrying a sidearm on your hip, which you were able to put to good use. So what caliber pistol do you carry?
Which time? Well, it depends on what I'm doing.
Day.
My daily carry, and I have my
I'm going to go to the vet pistol.
Yeah, my concealed carry is, and it's a bigger frame. I like, and can I use names or do you want me to
Sure.
just
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
I prefer the Ruger American, and some people think that's a little thicker gun, but if I'm wearing it and you can't tell whether it's thick or not, the reason I like the Ruger American is it fits my hand. And I would rather, like I said, be able to have a good shot, than this little bitty pistol that I can't get my pinky to work on right, and I'm not making a good shot. My father-in-law used to tell me, and he's a big wheel gun man, even though he's a Navy chaplain, he likes shooting and hunting, and anyway, he likes big bore wheel guns, 44s, 45s, and he used to say, I'd rather have one really well-placed shot than 15 scattered all over hell's half acre, and so I carry a Ruger American because it fits my hand and I can shoot it better.
And what caliber?
But it's 9mm.
Okay.
And my wife also has her concealed carry. She likes the little handgun. She's got a 380 LCP. I like Rugers. When I'm bear hunting, I carry a Ruger Vaquero. If you're familiar with the Ruger Vaquero, sure. 45 long Colt, 7 1/4 inch barrel, and then I also have a Kimber 45 auto. So, nice. And then I got several little 22 pistols that are just fun shooting cans and plinking. Yeah, just fun stuff.
So the cat goes under the car,
right?
The Bobcat, and does it expire there? What eventually?
No, like I said, and I really mean this.
Don't feel bad about it. This cat had rabies and attacked you and your wife, so don't feel bad about wounding a Bobcat that had rabies.
I appreciate you saying that, but it doesn't change the fact that I wish I could have put it down. When I deer hunt, I only neck shoot.
Sure.
And the reason I neck shot is because it's either a clean miss or it drops.
Yeah. My 8-year-old son started deer hunting this past year. We used quarantine to get him proficient on a 22 250.
Oh, nice.
And,
expensive round though. Good.
Well, now, yeah. but he neck shot. He shot a black buck, which is like an exotic thing we have here in Texas, a doe, and then he shot a whitetail doe. Both of them in the neck this year. So yeah, I never really have shot. I think I've shot one whitetail in the neck because it was the only shot I had. But it certainly is an effective way to put them down.
Yeah, they drop quick. So where were we at before?
So what ends up happening with this? Bobcat?
Okay. So the Bobcat is underneath the car. At this point,
hell, I would have backed up and just ran over it at this point.
Well,
I don't have any sympathy for the Bobcat that attacked me.
I do live in a neighborhood, but I live on the edge, okay, where there's woods. But obviously at this point, people have heard screaming, they've heard hollering, they've heard me yelling. Now they've heard 2 rounds go off in the neighborhood. People are curious. I've got a couple of neighbors on 911. I've got one that's heading into the house to check on my wife. And what I truly believe, a true hero shows up at that point. Pender County Deputy Sheriff shows up. And of course, the first thing he sees is a man with a gun. And he's got to do what he's got to do. And I respect all of our law enforcement. And I really mean this. But he told me, he said, I need you to put the gun down. And I said, well, sir, there's a Bobcat underneath my car. And he kind of went, sir, I need you to put the gun down now. And I said, yes, sir. So I showed it to him. I dropped the magazine. I opened the breech and locked it open, took the bullet out, put it in my pocket and showed him the 2 pieces. he said, thank you. Now, he never asked me for it or anything like that until
Yeah.
everything was all over. And he said, just keep it that way until, we're finished up here. And so he said, you need to go see medical attention. You're bleeding pretty good. And I said, okay. And I went over and checked on my wife. And I came back outside because they were still working on her. And the Bobcat, I guess at this point, because they had pushed everybody back out, it felt like it was kind of, trapped, for lack of a better way of saying it. And at least underneath the car, it was somewhat secured.
Mm-hmm.
And so after everybody backed out, it kept nosing out. And finally, it went down the fence line. My neighbor, it's a fairly new development. And so my neighbor didn't have up a fence like I have. And what they did is they allowed it to go down the fence line. It hobbled. The guy said, you mortally wounded it. It just wasn't dead yet. And they let it go back in the woods, and then in maybe 20 feet in the woods. And then they finished it off with a shotgun. Okay. And in fact, he said it just kind of laid down. So, it was a beautiful, beautiful male Bobcat. But like I said, it was tested positive for rabies. And
that's like, I can't, Bobcats are not something that I want to like mess with. That's like 20 pounds of fury, just all up. I mean, I can't even imagine. And then to just be staring at its face as you're holding it there, well, it's trying to claw your eyes out.
Well, my favorite story. Do you know who Jerry Clower is?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The coon hunting story with Jerry Clower had great big claws on the end of its feet and great big tushies and people, that thing attacked it, John. So yeah, you never thought it would attack it, my wife,
Right.
But,
so what was the extent of your injuries? And did you both have to get stitches or?
No, neither of us had stitches. My wife had over 20 puncture wounds, 3 bites. I ended up getting bitten 3 times. The only bite that I remember was the very one right before I chunked it. If you watch the video, it kind of reaches down. And that was, and again, they gave us so many antibiotics, man. I'm healed up a lot quicker than I thought, but I got some pretty good scratches on my arm, and I don't know, I've got that one there. And then there's bites and everything up here. I got bitten 3 times, but the one I remember was that one because I could feel the tooth on my bone because there's no meat there. It's just skin. And that's the one right before I chunked it, when I felt that one. The worst part was we've had, I think each of us has had now over 35 shots. Wow. Because of the rate. You have to have a series of shots. Yeah. And so we've got the last rabies shot that's coming up this week, and then we'll be done.
Well, that's encouraging news. And I guess if you catch it early, then there's really no threat of you getting it if you take all these shots. Yeah,
but it can kill. It can kill you if you don't get it treated.
Sure.
The other person that got attacked, I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but 10 minutes before my wife got attacked, another person in our neighborhood got attacked. Oh, wow. And he was putting his girlfriend's elementary school kids in the car and literally shut the door, getting ready to get into and drive them to school, when it jumped on his back and attacked him. And for whatever reason, he got a huge staph infection in his whole body. He got bit on his elbow real bad and bit on his shoulder real bad, and scratched up. And anyway, he got a really bad staph infection, and he ended up in the hospital for 4 days. Fortunately, he's out of the hospital now and recovering. But it was this was a sick animal. But like I said, and when you see him in the wild, and I've seen a bunch of them, you get to see him for a split second. It's like there's a bobcat, and now it's gone. And so. But beautiful animals, and it's just sad that it got rabies. And my wife and I serve on a local board here for a golf tournament for the Pender County Humane Society. And one of the things that we preach is making sure you have all your pets immunized against rabies, because that's a way we can kind of shrink the amount of rabies that are available if we keep pets from getting it.
So let me ask you this: where are you putting the life-size Bobcat mount?
I don't think, I have a hard time. You'll notice behind me, you don't see anything. This is my wife's forever house, and my stuff is relegated to the garage. So where I keep my gun safe and all my ammo and everything. But I don't think that we're going to have a life-size Bobcat anytime soon. So
Okay. Well, I love the video. It's unfortunate, obviously, that happened. I'm glad that all three of you who were attacked by this rabid bobcat are on the mend, especially your neighbor. That's scary. But I can't imagine seeing your wife getting attacked by something and you don't even know what it is. It's just absolutely crazy. But I'm glad there was a happy ending, and thanks for being willing to come and talk to us. I don't know how many millions of views this video has.
Oh, it's crazy
But
now.
it's just insanity how many people have seen it.
I have a nephew who lives in London, England, and he called me and told me it was on this, or called my brother who called me and said that he said, "Dad, did Uncle Happy and Aunt Christy get attacked by a bobcat?" And he said, "Well, yeah. How did you find out?" He says, "I'm in England and I'm watching it on the news, the evening news in London, England. I got a call from a reporter from India, the country." That's the other side of this is, I want to do this now so we can get the story out, because to be quite honest with you, next year this time, I hope nobody knows the name Happy Wade other than my friends and the people that I have. I do not want this celebrity, and we were told that if you don't put out the right information of what really happened, okay, then everybody just, it's like, so who was it? And it just stays and stays and stays. So we've done an interview with Inside Edition. We did local, and we've spoken to a few newspapers around the country, just so it'll get out and it'll go away.
Well, I'm sure you're growing tired of it, but I appreciate your candor and your willingness to come on here. And also your son Jake, who follows my Instagram page.
Yeah.
He was the one that said, "Those are my parents." And so I was like, "Huh, okay. Well, if they'd be willing, if your dad would be willing to talk, I'd love to have a conversation with him."
Well, to be honest with you, a pro sportsman, pro Second Amendment, what I believe to be pro American.
Right.
I'll be glad to speak to anybody there, whether it was this Bobcat story or not, of my beliefs. And I do believe in the Second Amendment. I do believe we have the right to possess good firearms and protect ourselves. And I'll just say it this way: the idiots that want to get rid of guns, go ahead, move to New York City, move to San Francisco, LA, go ahead, move to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Y'all have a big time. And by the way, if something happens, go ahead and call the police. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's right. Defund the police. Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all enjoy that.
Yeah.
And
it's not lost on me that the murder rates have gone up since they violent crimes through the roof in those cities. So
I'm of this
Chicago,
way.
Baltimore, Washington, D.C., all these places with the strictest gun laws in the country have the highest murder rates.
Well, criminals don't, first of all, the criminal, okay, he doesn't give a rat's ass about a law.
Right.
He's a criminal. Okay. What I can't figure out is, why do people continue to elect stupid people who think that making an honest American citizen have more restrictions is going to protect the citizens?
Yeah, it's not. It's
the only thing they're protecting is the criminals. They're giving them, unarmed people. Yeah. Okay. And again, I don't think everybody has the right. If you're a convicted felon, sorry, you lost your privilege. If you're an illegal immigrant, sorry, you lost your privilege. If you beat your wife, if you're a sex offender, there needs to have some common sense. Not everybody needs a gun. If you're mentally impaired, no, you shouldn't have a gun. And I'll stand on the biggest block of soap and, box and preach that all day long. But if you're an honest citizen, I think every one of us have the right. And when you come to take mine, I'm going to tell you what, I hope you got one with you. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think there's certainly a reckoning coming if that's what they indeed do try. And,
I tell you,
when people say that they want to take our guns away, I believe what they say. So many, some of my family are liberal on the liberal side, and they're like, oh, they're not really going to come take your guns. I was like, okay, ask the people in Australia, ask the people in Europe, ask the people in Canada how it's working out for them.
Yeah.
They don't like it. I've never met a Canadian that says, oh man, we have the best gun laws.
Yeah.
No, they're like, God, it takes me 2-3 years, some incredible permitting process to get a handgun so I can protect myself while I'm bear hunting in the Yukon.
Yeah.
So, what? Can't even protect yourself. No, it's asinine. But anyway,
Well,
I believe all those things that you mentioned there wholeheartedly.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to, say thank you to our law enforcement, our first responders, our military men and women. You talking about true heroes? I'm not. I am not. I'm just a husband who loves his wife. The next time you see a law enforcement officer, especially law enforcement this time of day, a firefighter, an EMT, or our service people, those, if you want to see a hero, go shake their hand.
Yeah.
I mean that with everything I have.
Yeah, it's a thankless job being an LEO in today's world. That's for sure.
Yeah. And thank you, Ruger, for making a gun that didn't jam.
Right. All right, Happy. Well, hey, thank you so much for the time. I sincerely appreciate it. God bless.
Yes, sir. Thank you.